How are your ears? That sound okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
good. How?
How's it going?
Yeah, doing
Nice to
great.
see you, good sir.
Great. Good to be with you guys.
Well, it is 4:15 here on the Hardline, and here at the Cowboys Training Camp tent, right on the tennis court, is the one and the only Jerry Jones. Mr. Jones, how are you, sir?
Well, I'm in heaven.
Right?
Seriously. This time of the year, I feel like I'm cheating somebody someplace by getting to be here to Oxnard, getting to be here in the weather. And I told our team when I spoke to them right after we arrived, I said, I've always looked around the room, and if somebody was doing something that didn't make a lot of sense or they were out of the way awkward, I thought, well, I'm going to keep an eye on him a minute. He may not have it all together. Well, I said, I want you guys to look around and look at the other 31 teams in the NFL, see where they're practicing and the weather they're practicing in, and see what we're doing. You know, we got it together.
You know, we were
We're out here together.
we were ready to come after you back when you moved to San Antonio for that year or two, whenever it was back in the late 2000s. Like, I was like, Jerry, what in the hell are you doing? But you had some sort of commitment, right, where you couldn't come back here. You had Yoda to San Antonio.
Well, let me say this. Seriously, San Antonio, being in the Dome, had something very appealing to the Cowboys.
Sure.
And it was principally because when ESPN saw us in San Antonio, I liked Vaqueros de Dallas, that going across this nation. And so, and it meant a lot, and it helped the Cowboys a lot to be in San Antonio. Much less do you know we have as high a percentage of Cowboy fans in downtown San Antonio as we do in Plano.
I don't
I
doubt
believe
that
it.
for a second.
Yes.
I believe it.
And so we were home and are at home. And, of course, as you well aware, we have the San Antonio stations that do their live sports broadcasts out here every night
Sure.
from the camp. Big deal. I've never not been a part of that at training camp or those stations there. So it's a tough call. Now, that is a tough call between here and there.
For you it is.
But is it a
Well,
tough
Not
call?
for us.
No, it's a tough call. It's
Okay.
for the reasons that I talked about.
All right.
This is like I said, this is cheating.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Out
is.
here.
So, looking back at last year and seeing the Rams kind of go all in and kind of get crazy with draft picks and trades and everything like that, we know this is a copycat league, and I kind of thought you'd be taking careful notes and go all willy-nilly in the offseason and go all in and, you're Jerry. And I don't feel like you quite – I feel like you you monitored yourself carefully, and I'm curious why that is.
Well, first of all, very fair comparison. And I must tell you, I am impressed with the Rams having emptied their bucket like that and then got it done.
Yes.
But you're going to take issue with what I'm fixing to say.
Okay.
That could have been the Cowboys there as easy as it was the Rams with what we had. You say, well, but you got to win a playoff game to get where the Rams are. But I thought we had a team on par with those teams, the 49ers, the Rams, those teams on given days. We had an opportunity, and that's going to do and can do, and you didn't do. But still, I wouldn't change that dramatically the way we approached last year, putting a team on the field, with the way the Rams put the team on the field, based on the difference in the way I thought you could play the game. This year's different. Now, I knew we had a lot of changes to be made this year because we had some pretty high-priced guys last year. And so we knew going into last year that was going to be then, and that we were in for some real management as we look forward over the next couple of years. We didn't empty our bucket, but we sure did go all out. What you saw was us basically say, to some degree, good player, outstanding player, maybe. Good person, maybe an outstanding person. But we've got to basically take players that are in our top 10, 11 paid players, and we've got to look at how many plays they're making for you. We've got to look at availability, and that's what we did, and those are the changes. And then when we brought them in with guys that would be around here, that we could get a lot of mileage out of them without having to go get them in the top 10 or 11 for a few years to balance this thing out. So that was the strategy. So it's the epitome of a logic that's influenced by the having the right amount of your meat, the cap, on the people that are playing the most downs.
It's threading the needle. So we can't let this go. You said something in the opening presser that you had out here a couple days ago, and you mentioned the secret sauce that you're looking for, and you also mentioned a word that we're trying to figure out what you actually meant, and you said dejinny or something of that ilk. Do you remember what you said and what that actually means?
Well, that's good. I didn't say it as articulate as I should have. The genie in the bottle.
Genie. Okay. All right. We were going round and round trying to figure out exactly what that meant. Okay, you cleared up a lot. We've had many arguments back and forth on what the hell what was going on. So.
Well, it could have easily been gin in the bottle.
Well, we actually considered that.
We all understand that, and from the source, I can understand the pointing the finger at it real good.
One other thing to clear up, we won't touch on the Jimmy thing because you've made yourself clear that that's the Ring of Honor is on your timetable. But do you have a mental pecking order of who's next, and is there going to be an announcement this year, or is it going to spill over into next year?
Well, I do, but it's not firm. I do. And I'm always, not defensively, but want anyone to know how much input I get. I have people have dinner with me with one thing in mind to talk about how important it is to get someone in the Ring of Honor. And those are either Ring of Honor members or they're people that have played on the team. We get a lot of lobbying. We get a lot of input. I probably overdo it. You heard me say the other day, Tex made several impressions in our short time together, but one of them was this Ring of Honor thing, hard. And he said, boy, keep it small. He said, do you have those in sports all over? And keep it unique. And don't necessarily make it the best player. Make it the one that did the most for the franchise. What is all of that? What all of that is somehow where I come in. Jimmy is certainly deserving to be in the Ring of Honor. And I want to think about when, how to do it. The presentation, if you will, at the time. And I frankly don't mind the attention that this situation with Jimmy gives the Ring of Honor.
Sure. No, it heightens it for sure.
And so the point is that we all know, maybe I've been all these years and just found that out, controversy.
Yeah, right. Right. It works.
Did I just figure that out?
All right. I think you've mastered that all along the way.
One more, Jared, before you go. Yesterday, Sportico came out with their list of the most valuable franchises. You guys were number one again by a mile, and I know it's a feather in the cap. Would you trade that? Would you be instead of the first, would you be like the 50th to win another Super Bowl?
Yes.
You would.
Period.
Right away.
Period. I've done it once before. I took everything I had and more to get a chance to be a part of the Cowboys' future when I bought the team.
Yeah.
It was not good business at the time. Terrible at the time.
Dumpster fire.
And so, by the way, I think Donald Trump, basically while he was president, said, I remember when he bought the Cowboys and said at that time, I feel sorry for him. That's the biggest piece of stuff I've ever seen because we were losing over $1 million a month in cash. Nobody made any money in the NFL at that particular time. And I didn't get in it for money. Now, I've got this down, so I'm going to say it.
You're doing all right.
I didn't get in it. But once I was in it, there was no joy in Mudville if you didn't bring back home enough to go again and go again competitively. And you can call that anything you want to. I called it a way to contribute making touchdowns. And so if I could be assured, now that is the issue, if I could be assured that the size of that paycheck or the size of that expenditure would get it done. And, of course, since I don't take risks, I keep it all in my pocket, which is BS too, as you well know. So we've tried it a lot with money, tried it every way in the world. If this thing were wide open, when we did our NFL, when we went to the salary cap, I basically said now to everybody, salary caps, we probably ought to have it, but if anybody could go without it, I could.
That's right.
And so whatever. So I know I'm taking time here and rushing everything along, but listen, I appreciate that. I hope there's positives. But, boy, I'd trade a bunch of that valuation on this Cowboys for the first downs at the right time.
Let's do it. Let's go broke
Thank you,
together,
Jerry.
Jerry.
Okay, buddy.
Let's
Well,
Sure,
congrats
man.
for paying off all your loans.